Okay guys, so here I'm gonna show you guys how you can make your first million developing software solutions. Okay, now this is it's not an easy task, and no one should even lie to you. It doesn't matter which field you're in, it's all the same. But since I have experience in this field, I'm gonna give you a few tips that I stumbled across because I was making mistakes along the way. So I'm gonna help you fast track some of these issues that you're gonna face in this industry, especially in our country, Zambia, at the moment. Okay, so first things first, you need to know your tools, right? So you just need to know two things. You just need to know how to make the front end and the back end of your software. And then that software needs to be able to produce a result. If it has to make a certain report or reports at the end of the day, that's the result. So your software needs to be able to produce a key business result for a company or someone, or for a company. So in this case, you need to know your tools. It can be, you can make money in any way. You can make even in desktop applications, web apps, mobile applications. I think I'm not too sure about that, but I've had more success on the desktop applications. Backend connecting with web. You can also add the web on there. So know your tools. You don't even need to know how to use them. You don't need to know every little single thing about them. All you need to know is you just need to know how to make your system produce a result. Number two, now this is important. You need to have some sort of a backup. Okay, what's this backup I'm talking about? I'm not talking about a backup of your system, of your code on GitHub or things like that. So you need to have a backup. You need to have some sort of, preferably you need to have like a diploma or a degree, right? So you need to have a backup because things can go wrong. Things can go wrong, and most likely things will go wrong. So you need to make sure you have either a diploma or a degree that's gonna back you up when things go out. And then number three, you're gonna need to know how to keep your expenses low, right? Initially. So initially, you're going to need to know how to keep your expenses low. Reason being is that you're now running a business. When you're running a business, the only thing that matters is profits and loss. So initially, you're not going to be making a lot of money. So your expenses also shouldn't be that high. So if you can, try to reduce your expenses completely. So preferably, if you're still living with your parents, that's even the best situation that you can be in. If not, find, I don't know, you need to keep your expenses super low, and you don't have to raise your expenses quite high until things stabilize. Things will take a long time to stabilize. So number four, you need to have patience. You need to have a whole lot of patience. You're not gonna really see anything significant for a good, and this is just facts. So for 2 to 4 years, you might not see anything significant, right? No significant gains for this period. Why is that? Okay, again, this depends on the business model you choose. So if you're developing codes one-time code for clients for specific needs, you will be getting money, but the problem is that you're always gonna need to have like another job. You're gonna need to have another contract. You're gonna always need another deal to land up, another project to work on. So that's now leads to number 5, right? And I'll probably cut the video here for now. So number 5, you're gonna need a scalable business. So you're gonna need a scalable business model. Okay, you're going to need like a scalable business model. And so you're gonna need to be able to pivot and have a product eventually. You're gonna need to have your own product eventually. Now, to develop this product, it's gonna take you, because you won't exactly know how that product works. So you're gonna have to find a way to get into the market and develop a product that at least more than 10 companies can use. So once you develop this one product, because this one product is gonna solve like the problems for a certain group of people. So this is now where you're really gonna make your money. But the only issue is developing this product. You're gonna need to basically work for free for a bit while you're developing this product. Work with 1 or 2 companies as so that they can be testing this product of yours, right? It's even so, yeah, so let the companies they're testing this product of yours. It's working, you're adding new features to it. You just have to keep going back and forth like that. You're not going to really be making any money with this. So now once your product is now marketable, it actually does the needs for that group or market segment. Now you can try go sell that product. So like you see, this is a very long process. You have to make a product, you have to sell it, you're gonna have to maintain it, you're gonna have to upgrade it, but eventually once you've gone through that cycle quite a few times, your product is gonna almost basically start selling itself, okay? And then now that's where the magic happens. So, but for you to even get to that stage, it's gonna take you at least 5 years. 5 years minimum of just going through back and forth of this. So if you wanna also do this, and if you wanna do this, you can try get a team of software developers, you come up with an idea, but the problem is, how long can your team members be part of your vision or your company without getting paid for so long? See, that's the biggest issue as well if you're trying to do this with a big team, because a lot of people cannot manage to stay in the game for so long without getting paid for so long. So there's a few ways like how I managed to do this. In this whole process, while you're still developing this business, you're gonna need to be a hustler. You're gonna need to have like a few other businesses running on the side, and these businesses, they can be anything. All these businesses are gonna be doing is just enabling you to have cash flow, to see the next day, to make you go on to see the next year. So you're just gonna do anything. So for example, I used to sell video games. I used to also sell phones while I was still running the same business. So the whole point of all that is just to keep you afloat, because as well the issue again with this software business, the cash flow model, or the way the cash flow comes in, it's not really timely. Okay, I'm gonna get to that in another topic as well. So okay, so this is just part one of this. So if anyone wants more, if you want to keep hearing more about this, I can extend this and get into the nitty-gritty details, the pitfalls of all this, and how to succeed in this market. This market is not easy, guys. This is not an easy market to conquer, but you can get a good piece of the pie in the market. It's currently growing. And another issue that you'll find is a lot of people don't understand what software really is, or what you're making. So sometimes it's very hard to explain these solutions, or even to sell these ideas to people. And that's another big issue you'd face, like here in Zambia, right? It's a bit hard to explain what your software is supposed to do and stuff. So you really need to be hands-on and really show them what it does. So that's why I say it's easier when you do make a product, because when you do make a product, you can show them exactly what the product does and if it's gonna help them. Then it'll be easier for them to see if it's gonna help them, versus trying to go there, you try to sell them like an idea of a system they've never seen. It's a little bit way trickier. You're gonna get a few deals like that, but it's quite tricky. So yeah, so that's all I have for today. You wanna hear more? Let me know. I'll give you more insight into this. There's a lot into this. Like I told you, you have to know how to develop your product, you have to know sales, you have to know customer support, retention, and all of that. Then you're gonna have to also know about finance, and how to eventually you have to know how to also invest your money and how to diversify, because the market is always changing, right? As we're speaking now, I have like 2 products, or is it 1 product that completely has now died out. It has just died because regulations and rules have changed in the industry. Government changed a few things, so now that product is basically obsolete, and that's totally like out of your control. You can't you can't fight some of these things. So once you get in and you start making a little bit of good money, you're gonna need to now invest your money and diversify. Peace out.